This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. And I'm recording.
So right now it's redirecting to YouTube. I'm hoping it gives you the same one that I already did my captions for, because that would be dope. It did not. Got it. So you will notice on YouTube, by the way, you will notice a lag. Right now it's redirecting to YouTube. Hoping it gives you the same one that I already did my captions for. That would be dope. So boom, I gotta mute my live on YouTube. And of course, the captions did not go through. This is the second time. I don't understand that part, but I think it's just because of Zoom. So it's okay. Semen, if anything, I would pause your recording, and I'll let you know when we're gonna go. Because I gotta just get these. I gotta get the tags in. Let the people know what's happening.
I'm gonna get some water myself.
Bang. Bang. Bang, bang. All right, and then we're gonna go thumbnail. Bang. We're gonna go save. It sucks because once I connect with YouTube from Zoom, it starts a new one. So the one that I had already saved that you saw live streaming does not play. But in the meanwhile, I actually believe we are already live on YouTube. So if anything, you want to just start spitting the shit, Semen, while I get these tags done, feel free, bro.
Well, all right. I mean, let's dive in, yeah. Today we're speaking about how to step into your male man power, your man juices, the masculine positivity. And we're going to talk about things that usually aren't spoken of highly enough, esoteric knowledge, but because of the power of the good media and whatnot, we can talk about these things worldwide. Not even don't even gotta be in the same room. But I think what we're going to start off with is this perfect quote, because I would like to even end off with this quote. And for everybody out there listening, it should be this. One of the main signs of maturity and stepping into your power, your frame, is holding yourself and withdrawing pleasure, delaying pleasure. And I think that opens up everything very, very nicely, because it kind of says what we're going to talk about. It's going to frame and speak about why delaying pleasure even creates masculinity, adulthood, and it even talks about patience, and using these key concepts that we're going to talk about in the world that we live in today. Because the world that we live in today, things are such microwaved, things are such in a very haphazard and rapid pace that it kind of plays and toys with our minds, especially as a male, because we tend to be very, very goal-oriented, very, very goal-driven. We want to come to the conclusion, and that even comes in sex. Sometimes we got sprinters and not marathoners, you know? So this is something that a couple of the topics that we're going to talk about. And I really hope that people not only just take this into light of, okay, we're talking about like sex and masculine energy, female energy, and you know, intergender relationships. Not just that, but take into account how it will affect your life as a whole, and even your environment around you. Not just your life, but the lives of others. And even the future. even the future, because how we commingle, how we coexist with each other, with male and female on all planes, is going to affect the whole entire stratosphere that is life.
I hear you, bro. You're speaking to the choir.
Amen.
I hear you. I'm just doing one last cut paste. So Semen, I tell you what, while we're doing that, while people are here, I throw this off the spot, it's off the cuff, right? Like, so he didn't get this warning. You know, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, why should I listen to you, bro? Like, give me the, if you were to die today, what do you need people to know? Why do I care to listen to you?
I'll tell you what, we can get the good audio in here. So first and foremost, who am I? Okay, well, I am a husband. Number one, I take that job very seriously. I take that role very seriously. I am a brother. I am a son. And I am also, that's what I am as a human being. I walk this earth with those titles because that was given to me at birth. And walking into husbandry is how I honestly view life and my work. So what is husbandry, right? Is loyalty, it's faith, it's consistency, it's standing into your reason and your authority on what you're capable of doing. And I use that frame, that lifestyle of who I am as a husband into my work. And my work is that of, honestly, I make people better. I just make people better. By trade, by common profession, I am a personal trainer. I am in the exercise science field. And I have gotten away from that title. I mean, yes, it's what I am, not, by title, of course, but I've learned a very, very long time ago. Fitness, health is not a one size fits all. I wanted more. I wanted to dive deep more. And that opened a plethora of studies from fasting, meditation, self-love, gratitude, sleep, developing a physical practice over, quote unquote, fitness and breath work and all these things. And it took me into the world of Russian health system, the Chinese health system, Qigong, Taoism, Native American breath work. And when you start studying all of these works from different worlds, you start recognizing fitness is not the only thing that you need to heal people. Fitness is great. It's a great stepping stone. It's an awesome cornerstone to the development of us. But I learned a long time ago, especially when I started working with Olympic athletes and national teams, that they need more than just the physical training. They need more outside the box to get the better edge on the opponent, the better advantage to, just make their skills and hone their craft that much more better. And I take everything that I do in life very, very, I uphold it with very seriousness, because it's like, I am gifted the opportunity to literally sit down with somebody or a multiple group of people, and they tell me everything about them, ins and outs, skeletons in the closet, and we work together in unison to make the dream come true. Whatever dream, whatever goal that you're working towards, let's do it. I'm devoted to you as much as you are devoted into this. So I always say, I believe in you because you believe in yourself. And that is how I view training. That is how I view the development of the human being, of the spirit. So I definitely take it much, much more than just, hey, let's do reps and sets. Let's work on your nutrition. It's so much more.
Absolutely. I hear all of that. So here is the magic. I actually just pressed record for myself. We're live on YouTube. I'm now back live with you on the Zoom. Forgive me, I had to do the SEO. I'm trying to learn my ways. Second time now on live. First time with a guest, my man SEMET. And on the agenda today, we have cosmic sexuality, right? Like, we have sacred sex. And what does it take to get this narrative out there as not something, let's say, pussyfooting around, or it's being a men taking a second to recognize that sex is more than a physical act of pleasure is where I think it begins. And when I say it begins, I more specifically means the world finding a little bit more balance, a little bit more order, right? The chaos is already in existence. I think that's obvious in plenty of ways. And I feel like what has allowed that is men growing up, especially let's say American men right now, just from the population that I can speak more appropriately from. I'm sure this happens in many other places in the world, and I know it does because of travel, but men are growing up too insecure. And this is what I've been recognizing, that men are growing up extremely insecure. Now that dynamic could be for many reasons. I think not every family has a male figure in the home. So I can speak even stronger, let's say, for Black families, but even among that, you go around the world, you know, you have families where the husband needs to go to the military by requirement through their state. You feel me? So that's also not that father figurehead in the home when the kid are young. You also have fathers, let's say, in certain cultures where there's a higher alcoholism. So like I said, something like that from the space of Germany and some of these European cultures that grew in it with alcoholism, and the fathers becoming a victim to it, which also means that they're not raising their daughter or their sons in the way that maybe they require for the feeling of safety and security, rather than just being able to provide the finances, but being able to provide the stability and the structure. So I think these are some of the roots behind all of this. And so I think that one of the solutions that we can start actively working on is semen retention. I think some of the roots that we can start actively working on is the NoFap and having men not look to porn as their savior. I feel like this happens a lot. Men are looking to porn as their savior. They're like, look, I'm having a bad time. I'm having, you know, my girl left me. You know, I didn't get no pussy in a long time. Whatever the scenario or the words they put in their head, porn becomes like a go-to move, where now dudes are jacking off 5 times a day, and then they wonder why they have erectile dysfunction. And it's like, well, it's not just the erectile dysfunction, which now you're being given a pill for, rather than taking in 60 days, which is scientifically proven, by the way, 60 days, that you can get rid of porn addiction and as well recover from erectile dysfunction naturally, just by not nutting, literally just by not ejaculating. So SEMET, let's move into like some of these like key points. I put them in the YouTube chat for people, the top benefits. I wrote down about 8 top benefits. This can guide us in the whole semen retention, NoFap benefits, bringing people closer to sacred sexuality. And let's move from there. Benefit number 1, and I'm gonna drop it in your chat as well, so you have it to kind of see to refer back to, is to recharge your sexual energy by breathing your sperm up your spine and practicing more sacred sexuality. Like, and I consider that a sacred sexual practice, being able to breathe up your spine, especially considering, where's this chat for you? How do I get into this chat thing?
Well,
I'm like
open, so I can also see if I can also see the chat box there, because you're live.
Okay. I just dropped it right there. So is there, let me ask you this. So we have a breath workshop. Everybody definitely check on my YouTube. You'll see the sacred breath breathing, teaching you to bring the sacral energy. That's your orange chakra, the second one. Your pleasure center, the center that helps make babies, right? That's the same energy they use to make a baby. We can now make metaphysical babies, metaphorical babies, put that energy towards our work, put that energy towards clarity to provide a structure for our women so that we can make wives again. We could put that clarity to, you know, solving world hunger and banding together a certain amount of people by saving that energy. So SEMET, do you have any breathing techniques that you would like to share live on the spot that can apply to people, that they can actually practice with us live on this semen retention episode?
Well, I'm glad you asked, man. Yeah. Okay. First and foremost, we have to understand breath, right? The breath is all about calmness and honing in on oneself, right? Like, it's about literally slowing your roll. So when we talk about literally moving the energy from, we talk about literally moving the energy from your man parts, the prostate gland, up into the spine. So root chakra, all the way up here to the crown. When we talk about that sensation, A lot of it comes from being patient in the act before, as they say, letting go of your seed, right? And so technique number one that I can share, and I'm going to make this in a progressive manner. Practice breath holds. It's one thing that I can tell you first and foremost. The reason why you want to practice breath holds is because number one, you're able to maintain all that oxygen that imagine you're in the act, you're pumping out that breath. But if you can retain your breath, if you can like hold and tense up, but also relax in that tension, is very, 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 very useful. That's the first and foremost progress. And literally what I mean is you can literally just inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, and then pinch your nose. The reason why you want to go inhaling through the nose and outside through the nose is because that will promote nitric oxide. That's your NO2. Once you're holding your breath as such, the nitric oxide that's pervading around your whole body is blood flow, it's blood circulation. At the same exact time, you are able to contract and you're able to work the Kegel muscle, the muscle that stops, your pee or even your seed from coming out. Practice that on your own before practicing that in the act of sex. And
right.
And the progression would be this. You're going to inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose, and then you hold your breath. That's progression one. Progression two, in the process of holding your breath, contract the Kegel, contract the muscle, your prostate gland, and hold that for 10 seconds, right?
So I want everybody to do this live with them. I want everybody I'm engaged. I'm going to step away. I'm listening, focus on what he's doing.
We'll do this together, right? So we're going to inhale, exhale.
This is the Kegeling part.
And then just relax. So the fist, is the Kegel contraction. I'm going to tell you that a lot of people are going to find the Kegel contraction the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be the breath hold. It's going to be contracting your Kegel. Like how long can you actually contract the prostate gland before you actually lose the tension?
Can we tell people how to contract? Because I've had people that don't necessarily understand what Kegel is. I think it's easy for us to believe that it's common knowledge, and I believe it should be, but I don't think that everyone fully knows what Kegeling is. I found a way to tell people what it is, but do you have a technique as well? Like, what is Kegeling? Like, how do I Kegel so that we can practice that breath again with the people now tuning in with that breath?
Truth be told, the number one thing, get yourself a whole bunch of water and make sure you pee, and then stop your pee. It's the same exact muscles.
Exactly. That's exactly the technique I was going to tell people. So when you Kegel, at least to know how to Kegel, if you ever had to pee really, really bad and you had to squeeze that muscle, that is the pee muscle. That's the Kegel muscle. And if you focus on that, the beauty is it gets stronger over time. Understand that it is a muscle, right? So as soon as I hear the word Kegel and if somebody else talks about it, I automatically Kegeling because I know that I should contract the muscle.
I think I got a bit of a delay on you.
Is the exercise called the Kegel. When you need to pee, hold your pee, hold that. Actually increase your drive. You will increase your.
Hey, Pernell, can you hear me? I think you got a bit of a delay. Hold on, folks. I think, let me send Pernell a message. Oh, there you go. He's back. There you go. Can you hear me? Well,
We're still live on YouTube. Which should be dope.
right now, it looks as though you're freezing, you're lagging up.
Damn, I see you moving.
There you go. I mean,
dang, yeah, it says I'm not really.
When you talk, it lags and you move very digitized.
Dang. Yeah, I might have to find that stronger Wi-Fi source.
Try talking now.
Can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yeah,
Am I back?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Technical difficulties.
You're good. You're back.
For all my astrology buffs out there, I have a Saturn in Aquarius in the 3rd house. So it literally speaks for I get to have all of these interruptions and delays when I use technology until further notice to test my patience. So yeah, just to kind of wrap up the Kegel, and then we'll try to do that exercise one more time, and we'll move to the second top benefit. All right. The Kegel, the more you can squeeze that muscle that helps you to not pee your pants, the more you hear about it, talk to your friends about it, you will increase your libido, which is your sex drive. You will increase your testosterone tenfold, which now can be used as that life force energy to energize anything. Okay, anything. You can play sports better, right? You will have better sex and you have better orgasms. You will be able to have more mental mobility, what I like to call it, mental clarity on where you're going in the direction that you must take. It's like you become almost clairvoyant in a way. So it's more than just sex itself, but if you can do that Kegel, and we'll do one more right now. So Semen, we're going to take that breath.
Sure. Yeah. So the process, first and foremost, I'm going to inhale with the nose. Here we go. Exhale. And just relax. And one of the main things I really want to bring up with the breath hold is you want to also get your body accustomed to resisting and tolerating carbon dioxide. So we're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about how you can improve everything: your performance in sex, your performance in sport, your relationship with O2, NO2, and CO2, all these things to say that in the act of performing sex and right before you feel like you're going to release your seed, instead of being this sprinter, you don't want to go. What you want to do, and I teach this a lot in my breath seminars, is this. You can even practice this with push-ups and squats if you wanted to. When you take that inhale, you want to release the breath with an inhale, exhale example. So I'm going to take a big inhale. And then what happens is you get these mini bursts of breath holds. And that literally, it's like your semen starts to withdraw back. That's that withdrawing sensation that we're talking about, when it's like you feel those swimmers and they're about to go to the sprint line. You're like, nope, come back. And there's so much benefit to that, which I think we're going to get to in the second topic, because there's so much we can dive into with just that alone.
Absolutely. And I gotta shoot this out loud, because I would love to see you at the breath workshop. So I'm running it April 17th. It's on the Aries, right before the Aries full moon. And I'm doing a sacred breath workshop. Right now I got about 4 people in there. I would love to even have you come in here if you want to just do some of the breath with us. Because we're going to be intentionally looking to bring that energy to different parts for each people. I'm going to try to teach them to bring it to the chakra point that they want. Whether they want to forgive in their heart, you can do that. You can learn to forgive using that same sacred energy and bringing it up your spine just to the heart chakra, and focus on compassion and love and letting in empathy. Or you could bring it to your third eye and open up your imagination and see past the illusion. So let's move to the second point. Here we go. I'm going to press copy on that line. I'm going to drop this in. So we're looking at building your self-esteem, reducing self-hatred, and negative thoughts. This is semen retention, right? It's how I think that we're going to start really helping not just the world, but helping the world by creating a more positive, masculine energy, to legit create a more positive masculine energy. I think toxic masculinity is spoken about so consistently, but who's considering the positivity of what it looks like in its healthy form?
Yeah, that phrase toxic masculinity, we need to also look, if you say one thing, there's also something as toxic femininity, because toxic masculinity doesn't really ever come out from a male's mouth. It usually comes out from a female. And I think the reason we hear toxic masculinity, it's like, okay, then what is that exactly? Define what toxic masculinity is, because we can't just say that as a generalized, vague topic for something that we just don't like. Some of the things that make a man masculine is just traditional and embedded within us. And I believe the narrative that we follow now about masculine role in life has kind of been reversed, and traditional stuff has been misunderstood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Full agreement.
Well, that comes into, honestly, everything that you just said right now about building self-esteem, reducing hatred and negative thoughts. And I think we can do that right now by exactly talking about what being masculine is, and why are we even talking about this in the first place? Well, first and foremost, build your self-esteem. And reduce hatred. They go hand in hand together. They all do.
And just so for the listeners that's just joining in now, to recognize that this build self-esteem, this reduce self-hatred, these reduce the negative thoughts is an automatic benefit by saving your nut, by semen retention. Mm-hmm. All right. By legit not watching porn. And even if you do have sex, and when you do have sex, because why not? I'm not telling you not to have sex. It's not even close to it. I'm telling you to be mindful of retaining your semen and being intentional when you're having sex with people, to take it to a more sacred level. That reduces the whole toxic masculinity, even when men don't talk about it, let's just say. But I wanted to get back to that so people knew that this is one of the benefits. Building your self-esteem, reducing self-hatred and negative thoughts is one of the benefits of not falling into the traps of porn addiction, as well as retaining your semen. So Semen, please do hit me with the follow-up.
So, okay, I want to just say that, look, when we step into this type of conversation, I opened up the dialogue saying that a great sign of self-improvement, maturity, becoming an adult, stepping into your power is onset delay of gratification, delaying gratification.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is because the world now is very, very much prevalent in instant access to pleasure. And the thing is let's just start off immediately with porn or any addiction. We want to go and we want to feel good about it. But normally when you do, as they say, bust your nut, when you do release that seed, you kind of feel weak afterwards. Inside is usually like, yeah, you get that maybe 2-5 seconds of like delight and happiness. But then right after that, there's usually a self-dialogue of like, man, I kind of messed up, didn't I? Whether you say it out loud or not. But then the tragedy and the pain of it starts to show when it takes over your life. You start making it late to work. Your vitality is low. People can see you. Your face doesn't look exactly as supple. And this is the thing, right? How can someone have so much self-esteem when they do the le petit muerte? I believe that's like the small death, as they say. That's like what the French say.
Yeah.
The small death is when you come.
It's really critical what you just said, because I can even attest to myself, right? Like you have those Superman days where you're like, you're just lusting. And I'll be honest, I had days of just lusting, right? And it's like, even if it's the same woman, I had sex 3 times in a day, it's like, and the next day, my eyes were soggy. Like I was so tired. I was like, and I couldn't even try to blame anything except for look at myself. And I knew exactly what was happening. I was like, dang, so I'm like, I was lusting, you know, it's just the reality. Like I was lusting, and it's like, I'm not confused about why I'm drained today. I'm not confused about why I'm tired. And I'm not confused about why negative thoughts are more easily able to get into my head. Yeah. Or let's say the self-hatred or self-esteem being impacted in a negative way. Like we got a comment in the chat, by the way, on YouTube from my man Panther the Great. He's saying right now, let's go. He's on day 67 of the whole NoFap journey for himself. And
let's go, man.
Yeah, absolutely. 67 days retaining the semen, which is dope. So let's move to the number 3 real quick. Let's see what's happening on the third benefit to this. Right now, what I have is to sharpen your mind, to sharpen your mental mobility. And I really like that phrase. Chris Flow is one of the latest people I heard mention it. Mental mobility, you know, and boost the clarity with your healthy masculine energy. So, Semet, I'm gonna type that in the chat very quick. I'm gonna repeat one more time. I'm gonna ask you a question. So I'm gonna give you a heads up. What is healthy masculine energy? All right, that's my question for you. And I'm gonna repeat this top benefit number 3 for the semen retention and NoFap benefits, semen retention benefits, to start practicing more sacred sex. Sharpen your mental mobility. Top 3 right here. It sharpens your mental mobility and helps you to boost with clarity your healthy masculine energy. So what's up with that, Semet? What is healthy masculine energy?
It's a good question with a lot of avenues. I believe healthy masculinity, honestly, is understanding and respecting your seed. And the reason why I say that is because once you respect your seed, you are literally just not to be you're not to be fucked with. Let me explain why.
Unfuckwittable.
Let me explain why. The semen, the seed, is the genesis, the gateway to life. Okay? Once you give that up, you have given up power. And the thing that you have to understand is we as humans, right? We have 3 bases of thinking, the 3 pillars. I got a video called The 3 Pillars of like Human Thought. And you have to understand that there is everything down here is like the emotional cascade. And then we get to the brain, right? Our head. And then we get to the spirit. In Taoism, right? There's a great book called The Tao of Sexology. There's a great explanation there that everything beneath us is the emotion. It's our lower self. Addiction, you know, lust, our fallen nature. So we get biblical in that sense as well. And when we go up here, we talk about the soul mind, which is dealing with logic and reason and clarity. And then we go up here, which is the spirit. And this is how we want to operate. We want to operate up here in our healthy masculinity, in our kingsmanship. This thought of thinking, you know, the spirit is literally all the practices that we speak about, delaying the gratification, understanding that when I give my seed, it is for the reason that I have chosen my wife, my woman, my girlfriend. I have chosen her. I went through a process of vetting, of courtship, and respecting her as well. Because once you as a man give your seed up and you just shotgun everywhere, you are not only are you devaluing yourself, but your semen's going to tell you also. Guaranteed, if you go 4 weeks without coming, and then of course you come, you let the seed come out, that seed is going to be strong as all hell. It's going to punch out like a rocket. And then let's say you come again, whether if it was masturbation or if you were having sex, the seed is going to start shooting with less and less force, mass, and even the volume and consistency. So even your body tells you these things, you know?
So I think that was pretty clear. And this is one more reason why, before we move to the top benefit number 4 out of 8, we're almost halfway there. It sharpens your mental mobility, boosting the clarity with the healthy masculine energy. Healthy masculine energy couldn't be explained any better, in my personal opinion, than what SEMET just gave us for the real. This is why we brought him on here live. It hit me in the head. I was like, yo, I got to bring him in here because, some frequent conversations, at least 3 times a month. And, we just go in on these topics, and we always said, we got to start allowing ourselves to get that message out there. So here's one of my attempts to do it. So sharpen the mental mobility, start retaining your seed. Understanding, like you said, your seed is the seed of life. You feel me? Like you plant seeds and things grow, right? When you water it properly and give it the environment conducive to its growth. You feel me? Like, bananas aren't going to grow the same at every part in the world. Certain roots, burdock roots, are going to grow in certain parts of the world because the fertile is the soil is fertile, and the rainfall and the climate is conducive to it. So to start looking at masculine healthy energy, getting away from the toxicity of masculine healthy energy, when you retain your semen and you stop watching porn, or bare minimum, you're more mindful of the usage of porn, or the amount of times. Understand, this is not some overnight thing, right? If you're busting a nut 5 times a day, aim to bust it just 4 to 3. Take this into steps, because this is not, first off, it's not a game, but you can make it one. You can have fun with this, but recognize the benefits of this are so tremendous. Everything you're complaining about as a man, in my quite frank opinion, will no longer be such a complaint if you can find a way to hold that nut, and you can find a way to get past, I think even past 30 days of not watching porn, anywhere from 15 to 30 days, your desire to watch porn goes away. You know what I'm saying? So it literally just vanishes. So in that meanwhile, give yourself some things to do. But top benefit number 4, and we have some dudes in the chat, by the way, on YouTube saying he definitely wants to kind of check in with this later. Blessings, enjoy the rest of the day, brother. Definitely going to check it out for the additional gems. He's happy to be saved later. Again, kudos to you for being 67 days of the
before he leaves. What's his name again?
Andrew, but I think it's Panther the Great on I know him personally.
Panther the Great, but right before you go, or whatever's going on there, I want to tell you one strong thing. Right after today, stop counting. Don't count your days anymore. Stop it. And I also want you to be mindful of the pride that you're going to take in this. Yes, it's a great thing that you're practicing this, but don't walk around feeling don't feel too smug about it. And you don't even got to share with nobody else. Don't be smug about it. Don't be super prideful about it. Notice what you're feeling and what you're going through. Use that power, because honestly, man, look, at the end of the day, what we do for self-improvement, the way I notice it, the way I walk this life, is really not for me. It's what I'm going to do in the world with my improvement. So my goal is not to be narcissistic and think about myself. It's more along the lines of, if I can, fix myself, improve myself, how can I transmute this energy elsewhere into the world? So walk with that in your mind frame, so that way you don't tally up your days anymore. That's it.
To not make it about the accomplishment itself, rather than you're doing it for you, right? I feel you on that. So thank you. We got top benefit number 4. We're moving on to, for the semen retention, practicing sacred sex, practicing new forms of sexuality, and exploring new forms of sexuality, if you will, through the NoFap, and really just giving you the benefits of the whole retaining your semen. One of the craziest stats that I've covered is the fact that testosterone increases 145% in 7 to 8 days of semen retention, or even NoFap, not watching porn, watching the porn addiction and how that may play out. So, 145%. Semen, what do you feel about that? I mean, Like, is this the first time you heard this? Are you surprised?
It's actually the first time I've heard such an. I've never heard that increase before in my life.
No,
Never.
bro, that's kind of wild when you think about it. 145%. I remember actually, so Semen's wife Tanya was actually 4 years or so ago. She was actually a client of mine, and I had, as a part of this group that I was running, I had I don't remember what the hell it was called. It was a part of Life Lessons. Remember Life Lessons?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Back in the days.
Yeah. Back in the day, bro. We was running that group, Life Lessons, just giving out info content. None of that stuff ever made the internet, but whatever, it was practice. And one of the challenges, I remember telling his wife, which then obviously affects SEMET directly. I was like, I don't remember what it was. I was something like for 48 hours to like 4 days or something, especially for people who had a boyfriend or girlfriend. If you know you're having sex frequently, cut it. I don't remember what the time frame was. I don't remember if it was like sex specifically, but it was like fasting from like pleasure. Something, I don't remember what the lesson was itself. And I think sex was considered one of those pleasure things. And I just remember it was super interesting because, right, like how if you're in a relationship, let's just say, and you're thriving in your relationship, you're thriving in your sexual space, and it's like, y'all got a good thing going. And it's like, those are, in some moments, in my personal opinion, those are some of the more, I mean, because if you're not in a relationship, you might just be going NoFap. You might be going semen retention just because you're not getting no buns. And you decided you feel me? And you already decided, like, you know what? Like, I can't even watch porn anymore because it's been too much. So now I don't got a girl and now I don't want to watch porn. So that's why I think a lot of men fall into the whole NoFap and gain the benefits, because it's only 7 to 8 days and you get 145% increase in your testosterone. You feel me? 7 to 8 days. So it's like, that could just be a week where you were just so busy with work that you ain't have time for the porn. You ain't have time even for the lady. Even if you had a lady, it could have just happened. That 7 to 8 days is not a lot. And just, if you're watching this, check in with how empowered did you feel when you had that as an opportunity for yourself. So that's definitely one of the 8 that's number 4 out of the 8 top benefits. If you don't have anything to say on that, then I'll move to the 5th benefit and see what's happening.
I will tell you this. Definitely have studied in great lengths that testosterone has plummeted big time since the 70s, man. Since the 70s. Testosterone's been going down tremendously. So
why is that? Why is that?
Because of the way we live this life now, because of how frivolous and how infinite access we have to the addiction. Not only that, but we have dumbed our dopamine down. You know, our stimulation levels need to get jacked up so high now because you got like 5 different things. You got a laptop, you got 5 different monitors, and it's like, next thing you know, when you watch porn, or if you take that bump of coke or whatever it is, it's not just 1 anymore. It's like 2. And then it's like the scenario changes. Now it's 3 bumps and you're drinking.
And reactions.
Dude, man, it changes. And mind you, when I used to live in New York and I used to have these like big fame clients and I would go to all these like, you know, little parties and stuff, you would see like people literally just like throwing it all away for like that moment of pleasure. And I always say, do not sacrifice a lifetime of happiness for just 1 moment of pleasure. And I'm telling you, the more we have our access to easiness, the more we're getting away from hardship and work, you know, the more we step into quote unquote sexual liberation, the weaker we're going to get. Sexual liberation is slavery. I think you muted yourself, man. It says that you mute here, by the way.
My bad. I had a little car running in the background. So semen retention, the benefits of it, bringing men to a more positive masculinity, a more healthy form of masculinity, leaving behind the narratives that you already don't like, you know, of other women calling you a dog, right? It's like, you know, you already don't like that narrative, but, you know, part of it, we got to check in with, where is it true? And if it's not true for you, we got to check in with not being defensive when you know it ain't true for you. You ain't got nothing to defend either. So really bringing us back to a more sacred practice of sex and looking at it as something way more powerful than just the next desire being fulfilled when we want, how we want, which is the danger, the instant gratification, let's say, of porn and the addictions that are formed. It comes from, you know, that woman said no to you and you were like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go home and I'm just gonna jack off. Like, I mean, watch how that plays into your real life. You feel me? Like, watch how that plays into your real life. And it's like somebody gonna tell you no, and it just basically go wimp off and go eat donuts because you feel like crap about it. And that's where I think maybe some of the toxic masculinity may come in, where it's like, you know, feminine energy is in the space of chaos. So, you know, it's your job. If you are now doing as a man, I had to recognize myself. If I'm now doing as a man what the woman would do in response, then I'm not operating from a clear mind. I have, my mental mobility is not sharp, and I'm now acting from a place of insecurity, which is clearly reflected from the partner. So it's like, you know, Semen and I were talking about this, like, you know, quite frankly, if you're a man watching this, the scales are never going to necessarily be even. So now if we're gonna hit this even point where, you know, I'll be honest, like I had a problem with that at a point when I came to terms with this. I think I was talking to Semen and I was like, I don't even know if I'm cool with that. I don't even be cool with that. Like, I believe in fairness and balance so much, but there is a biological narrative at play. There's a biological narrative at play that it says, quite frankly, like, you know, we weren't necessarily fully made equal on a biological level. That's just not true.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. And well, I don't want to interrupt you in that. It's just you're right. I feel strong about how people always talk about equality. It doesn't exist. I'm sorry, guys and gals. It just doesn't exist. What we have to do is respect the differences and step into the roles as to why we're different. That's what we have to do. Men and women are not the same. It just isn't. And in this world, you have to understand that, like, you know, what is it? Equity versus equality. It's kind of like if we're all going to the baseball game and we're watching it behind the fence. If I'm 6 foot tall and I don't know, Bobby Joe is 4 foot tall and he can't see the fence, and you're like 5'11", 5'10", you and me, we can see the game. Bobby Joe can't. So let's treat everybody equal and give everybody a box. Okay, we're all standing on the box. Everybody got equality, but Bobby Joe still can't see the game. He needs 2 boxes. So now he gets 2 boxes. Is that equal? You know? So now you move that frame of thought into things that are almost immeasurable, such as somebody's emotions, skin color, ethnicity, whether they're handicapped, measurements, heart, courage, effort. You see what I mean? So yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
So let's move on to top benefits for semen retention NoFap. I want to thank you for that, because that was a very clear picture you painted, by the way. With the 2 boxes, like, is it still fair now that you needed 3 boxes to be at the same level? So, you know, that's that. And I got a question for you later. Hopefully I remember. Let me see. So top 5th benefit out of 8, we got improving your chances to attract women with your primal pheromones.
Ooh.
Primal.
This
primal.
Is real. This is
I
real
like that one. I made that one up last night.
Yeah.
So and it was through some research, right? And so, you know, understand this, right? The pheromones talk. You know, when you walk around with somebody who's confident within themselves. So if we went back to even the second benefit being build your self-esteem, reduce hatred within yourself, self-hatred, and reduce negative thoughts, you are naturally more confident as a part of that second top benefit. Your self-esteem is higher, you're less insecure, which means that you can now be the clear masculine structure that women in your life will need. And if not women, your partner, right? I'm not gonna sit there and cut it. Often it can only be one sex. It's your choice. But with that said, you're gonna improve your chances to attract the people that you want to, the quality of people that you want to, not just anybody, but you're also going to, in reverse, expel others that do not and are not ready to operate in your glory, quite frankly. They're not ready to walk in your energetic field of greatness. You know what I'm saying? Your energetic field of confidence, because now whoever you're attracting, not everybody is going to be able to basically walk in your presence. You know, not everybody's going to be able to do it. They're going to be like, it's going to be like, ooh, get back. And they're going to feel that on their own. You may never even come in contact with the fact that other people are more insecure around you because you're just in your glory, quite frankly. When you hold that nut and you do so wisely, and you stop with the porn, your self-esteem is so high, you're talking positive things into your existence, into your own life, and you're not hating on yourself. This is now your primal pheromones, like caveman to the highest. You are now option number one. They're like, this is the man who will provide me stability, who will provide me emotional honesty, and maybe even good dick. Like, you know, you call it what you want. So this is also a part of it. I mean, everybody likes sex. So again, I want to like clarify, this isn't to say don't have sex, but it's more so to say, find your rhythm. I had to learn that from somebody else, like find your rhythm. Like there's one guy, he told me like he found that rhythm is about once every 12 days. So that doesn't mean he's not having sex in between those days, but he's only allowing it, from the rhythm he's created, a nut is only coming out about 12 times. I mean, every 12 times or so. So in between, it's like the breath that Semen was telling you when you breathe in, and that breathing, especially in the middle of sex, the biggest thing I found men fuck up with and why they nut way too soon, way too early, beyond the fact that, you know, obviously they're probably, if you're watching this video, not retaining your semen and probably with the porn addiction. Beyond that, one of the reasons I found is men don't breathe when they have sex. It becomes this goal orientated mission to get from A to B, you know, and then it becomes very selfish as well, where we're not even pleasing the partners that we're attracting. We're just worried about our own pleasure because our testosterone is so drained from multiple ejaculations, whether through porn or with people, that all we could focus on is the goal of get it out. And rather than the enjoyment of the pleasure of the ride, to recognize you can have multiple orgasms without even ejaculating once.
Yeah. You know, so we're talking about the pheromones here. Improve your chance to attract women with pheromones, with your primal pheromones. Look, this is hands down something that you want to experience. I guarantee you, woman. Okay, this is the thing. Women will talk in secrets of women. You know, like they're the girl group. They're like egalitarian in that way. The thing is this: I guarantee you, when you are walking with that amount of vitality and testosterone, it is sensible. Okay, shoulders back, proud chest, confident aura, just as real as gravity is. Like that's gravity. You know, is your vitality and your aura is real. Women can sense that. The other thing that I want to add, if you want to boost your vitality more, you want to get those pheromones out there, take care of your health. Take care of your endocrine system. Your endocrine system is a host of hormones, pineal gland, pituitary gland, the sex glands. Watch out for, you know, how you eat, how you train, how you talk to yourself up here. But again, what we were talking about, practicing semen retention is honoring your seed and you being the master of when and who you are going to release it with. That amount of inner strength to say, no, I'm not gonna jump into this pleasure. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna maintain my frame. That is seen. Even though it is a closed door act, woman will see that. Woman will definitely sense that off of you.
Yeah, they're gonna feel it.
They're gonna feel it.
It doesn't have to be a visual sight. They're gonna visually see it as well, because like you said, the tall shoulders, the proud stance, you know,
even the muscles feel different, you know, like
you recover different, you regenerate faster, you know,
this density,
life force energy, ladies and gentlemen. It's life force energy that you are now retaining within yourself with semen retention. This is one of the major benefits. This is life force energy. So I always try to make this example to give credit to the power of this. You can create a human being, a fucking baby. You feel me? With the same energy we talk about, you can create life, like life. So imagine if you're putting and keeping that life within you.
Dude, man, think about it like this. If you are constantly gonna walk around very seedless, very weak semen, you're gonna look like it. You're gonna look like a limp dick. You're gonna look like a limp penis.
Drained and exhausted. Yo, you really true. Cause I just had like at least 1 to 2 dudes pop in my head who look lifeless. They look like a limp dick. That's funny as shit that you say it, because they literally visually look like a limp dick. But whatever, that's a different topic. Yo, so we got top benefit number 6 out of 8 here on this live, talking about semen retention, NoFap, the benefits of it, bringing ourselves to more sacred sex, bringing ourselves to more positive and healthy masculine energy. We have retaining semen for 15 to 30 days will kill your urge towards porn addiction. Now, kill could be strong in this instance, right? I'll bare minimum say reduce, but I'm a really passionate person. So, but what are your thoughts on that, my man? Like 15 to 30 days.
I cannot give a number because everybody's different. Somebody can just take a day, it could just take them a day to be like, you know what? It can take that one decision to be like, I'm done.
And you know what's interesting? I think when I was in Bali, I was living in Bali, and I think I had told you about that. And it's like, I made a decision. I was just like, I wasn't even watching it prior, which I think the stat that has to almost be considered is how frequently are you watching porn? I think in that year, it was like, I watched it twice, and I was almost like, I don't even know why I did it those 2 times. Like that whole year I watched porn twice, and I was still like, and you know what? It had to be honest. It came when the woman that I was dating rejected me. And it was like, she literally said, no, why don't you go watch porn? It's somewhere that fucked with me. And I did exactly that. I was like, after like 3-4 days later, I was like, man, fuck it. I'm not getting no guns. Fuck it. Like, and that was just that simple, so I got to own up on that. But I also recognized that I was like, it was like, even those 2 times in that year, it was like, damn,
ladies and gentlemen,
necessary.
The real thing is always the best thing.
Absolutely. And I think it's something that now when we talk about a lot, it's something that it becomes worth retaining your nut, right? It becomes worth retaining the semen. It becomes worth, not watching the porn and checking in if you have an addiction or not. Recognizing addiction is kind of defined by something you can't live without, something you feel like you need. Like if you don't get it, you start itching. You feel me? So, so like he said, I think it's critical because, I mean, I've heard stories of guys watching porn 5 times, 6 times, having 5-6 nuts a day. Where I've even heard like by the 3rd to 4th to 5th nut, it actually becomes more ritualistic for them, more spiritual, where they got to start lighting candles and like trying to like set the mood for themselves, because
you only have so much time in the day.
You feel me? Like, I don't know how much time in a day it takes to do that 5 times.
Goes back to the negative thoughts that we were talked about on benefit too. It's like now if you're wondering why you haven't gone anywhere with your life or your goals or your objectives, well, attention, energy goes where attention flows.
Absolutely. And mind you, right, what's happening with porn itself, like women are being abused. This is just a reality. Like, even if she tries to pretend like she's having the best orgasm on the planet day after day after day, like she's being abused emotionally, she's being abused spiritually. Part of that is her abusing herself, but that's also part of that, the man being part of that scenario, right? So it does take 2 people. So, and again, you can step outside this, you can call your sexual orientation or anything. So it's not just man, woman, but the industry itself, let's just say. I think that this 15 to 30 days and killing the urge towards that addiction, it is subjective. It is case by case. And I think how you've been able to kind of determine what that looks like for yourself. Is this happening weekly for you? Are you watching porn weekly? Are you doing this monthly? Are you doing this daily? You feel me? And if it's daily, if it's weekly, how many times within that week? How many times within that day? What is your refraction period from one nut to the next, right? Like, is this 20 minutes later? Are you waiting 4 hours? Understanding that, one nut for a guy takes him out of his game for at least 4 days. Recognize that. One nut.
That's a real in the science of like Chinese medicine, the health system with Taoism, what they talk about is there's a calendar, depending on your age, there's an actual calendar of when you actually restore all that you have lost with the semen.
Boom. So let's go top benefits on semen retention, making more positive masculine energy available and understood. We have number 7, which is we kind of talked a little bit briefly in a different way, but sexually transmute, top benefits. Sexually transmute that sacred energy, that sacral chakra energy, that life force energy towards becoming a better man.
Yeah.
This is just one of the clear benefits for me. I think we've kind of discussed through 1 through 7 how that looks. Recharge work, good. One's talking a little bit different. Sharpening the mental mobility, boosting that masculine energy with clarity. 145% testosterone increase within 7 to 8 days of semen retention of NoFap. Gain those benefits, baby. Number 5, improve your chances to attract women with your primal pheromones, right? Keyword primal, which is dope. Number 6, retain the semen for 15 to 30 days. We talked about this. It's circumstantial, like it'll be different for each, which is why we give a range. If you watch porn less, you can expect it in 1 to 2 days, maybe. If you watch porn a shit ton more, maybe it's gonna be 45 days. But you'll notice that the urge will start to dissipate each day that goes by.
Thank you for
becoming a better man. Thoughts. Semen, hit me. Thoughts.
On benefit 7 here, yeah?
Yeah. Becoming a better man, transmuting that energy. What are some things, maybe we do it like this. What are some things that people retain their semen that they can begin to transmute that energy towards?
Yeah,
you know
Like, that's where I was gonna attack this from. It's this. Okay, sexual transmutation and what that looks like, so we can define that very clearly, is when you are having the urge, right? You have the urge, it comes, which honestly, it's always gonna happen. It's your duty, it's your challenge, it's your burden of performance to fight that. And when it does come, do not entertain it. That's one thing. Go out there, inject yourself into the world, okay? Give. The penis gives. The woman receives, the penis gives. We explode and we give. Give your life force. That's what I was talking about earlier. You want to be the devoted warrior. Devotion, giving yourself to something bigger that is you. This is the thing. When you have this frame of thought that it's not just yourself, you're stepping out of narcissism in a way. You want to give to the world because you want to see the world a better place, right? If you have a problem with the world, be the change, right? Be the change in the world. And once you begin to transmute that energy into those goals, into the positive life that you want to see out there, you start feeling better about yourself. You start treating, again, not only do you treat sex better, sexual energy better, it turns sacred. What makes something sacred? First of all, exclusivity.
Wow.
And who you include in that exclusivity.
Right.
So this is the thing. I'll give you a perfect example of myself. Right? If I feel that urge, right? And my wife is not around, or she just can't, or we're not gonna do it, I am gonna go out there and be like, all right, it's coming. I feel it coming. That's it. I'm gonna go turn it into something immediately. Okay, that's a sign. Let's go work on something. Or even better, if you want to challenge yourself even further, stillness. Stillness. You want to call yourself a man? Say no to urges. Even the urges that are positive. I love training. I say no, I fast from working out. You know, that's one of the beauties about fasting. From just not just from food, fasting from things in life in general. Can you live without? Train yourself to be that type of man, to live without things because you know that they can be taken away from you.
Doesn't get better than that. Doesn't get better than that. We'll give you the last top benefit out of 8 on the semen retention, the NoFap. What's happening, expectations. Let's talk about it. 60 days, statistics will claim with the NoFap benefits, 60 days will improve the symptoms of erectile dysfunction. 60 days will improve. If you without porn addiction, without falling into the addiction of porn, the need, the desire, being able to be still, helping yourself to become a better man, sexually transmitting that energy towards something positive, towards something that you actually may desire, but may require you not to desire it at a rate of instant gratification. 60 days will begin to improve erectile dysfunction. So all of you out there taking pills, let's just say, because you feel like you're not able to get up in any other capacity, it is not true. Take your 60 days. If you don't want to be taking those pills, save some money in your pocket, as well as, up front and on the back end, because up front you're paying for it. On the back end, you're paying bigger. Right? Who really knows the consequence of, let's say, Viagra on the long term? I'm positive it's not good.
But that's the joke, right?
Huh?
Isn't that the twisted dark side of it all?
What?
The dark side of it all is if you are popping pills, you are taking yourself away from what is already yours. Right. You know what I mean? Now you have a reliance on the pill. So now the thing is you're screwed, because now you have two issues. This is the thing. A lot of it is very mentally, willpower, and of course changing your environment. But the thing is this. You have now created two demons to fight, to tackle, two challenges. Number one, the reliance that you have had on Viagra or Cialis, whatever is out there these days, right? So now what this does is you create this mental enemy. Now you got to do mental gymnastics and be like, man, like imagine if you're on a date with a woman, what, are you going to stop it and go to the bathroom to pop the pill and drink it? Like how long are you going to keep doing that? And how much are you going to keep breaking the back?
Gymnastics.
Yeah.
I had to type that in chat. That was dope.
And then the other thing is, so now we've created this situation where, okay, I'm only going to have sex with a girl when I have pills, or, and even worse, if you need the pills to masturbate, it's like, damn, now you're just going everywhere. And then if you're also addicted to porn, now you have a problem, because there are people who cannot get it up. Both men and women. Women can go vaginal dryness, and men can walk around limp. Now you have an issue. You have to watch the porn. You have to get the addiction so that you can communicate with another human. No. See, we have problems. We just continue. The more we continue to include with things outside of ourselves, the more issues we're going to have. You have to master you first. You have to work on you first. And literally, the thing is, when you refrain from something, your body has the ability now to catch up. Example, if you're refraining from sex, if you're refraining from porn, if you're refraining from masturbation, just think how much vitality is being restored up. Like finally, your body is saying finally. Of course, once you return back into the act, you're going to be a stud, But there's a process to all of this. You go little by little. And when you're going through the process of refraining, you also have to take that time to battle any demons that you've had. So when you go back onto the field of dating, being with a woman, you become more and more prepared. That's the thing.
Man, whoa. So here we are. We're about an hour or so deep into the live. We're we're talking semen retention, NoFap, and the benefits, and bringing a more positive outlook on masculine energy into the world, because the world is in sheer and utter chaos with too many insecure men who have a very big role in the chaos being out of balance.
We do.
So right now, this is one of the reasons why I felt this to be really important. In my personal life, I would say that I've even had this become a really big focus, more from the space of recognizing that this is a thing that's bigger than I really respected at front. Like I didn't recognize how addicting porn is to people until I started hearing people really masturbating 5 times a day. And I'm like, damn, son, if I masturbate once, I'm pretty okay. Like I'm fine. especially if I nut. Like, cause if I do masturbate, like it's like I'm not even looking to nut. I'm actually masturbating in order to train myself not to nut. You feel me? Like, so whenever I do masturbate, it's actually more about trying to do that breathing, try to work it up my spine. And if I happen to nut, it's because the practice was not necessarily a failure, but just improvement. It's like, all right, if I was to try to time this, let's just say, the aim is, in a sense, if you're not in a minute, to be able to focus on breathing while masturbating, even alone, to find yourself up to 8 minutes and go from the 8 minutes before you blow, let's just say, to 10, 15 minutes, you know, and almost to kind of make it somewhat of a game, but more so to practice the Kegel muscle that we mentioned earlier in the conversation. And also to be able to cultivate that control within yourself before you meet up with a woman. And I want to say this because I found it to be really critical for men. It's okay when you're having sex with your woman. I know and I hope that you want to please her, not just yourself. But with that being said, it's okay to talk to the woman up front and tell her, or even when you recognize, I don't want to nut. I don't want to ejaculate. I literally want to retain my semen, and do so. When we're talking sacred sex, set an intention with your partner prior to even the sexual encounter. And I would take time to do these things, whether it's like, you know, I'm going to make another video about setting the scene. Like, how do you set up the scene for more sacred sexual practices? I'm going to do that video. It's not out yet right now, but I'll give you one of the tips now. It's just like, you know, do it up a little bit, you know, be a little romantic, light some candles, get an incense going, set the smell. Like women and smell is very critical. Like set the smell, whether it's some lavender or a diffuser, set the scene, because understand that the woman's vagina is more like a flower. That shit needs time to blossom. It needs time to open up. You forcing yourself inside or upon her is not really a turn on. You feel me? So be okay with all of this. When in the middle of it, you feel yourself, let's say, we already know classically, look at the conditioning. She turns around, oh shit, backshot time. It's like, damn, I'm ready to nut in the next 15 seconds. All right, well, you know that. Let her know that you don't want to, and let her know when you need to just slow down. I've had to learn to be okay with just telling the girl, and even myself, more importantly, right? Slow down. Verbalize this, speak it up. I need a second. And if that's the case, and you find yourself needing to kind of sit there and take your Johnson out, find other ways in the meanwhile to please her while you get that breath to come up and regenerate, even if that's you giving her oral head. And then meanwhile, while you allow your nut to recuperate so that you can even continue the state of pleasure and have that orgasm without actually ejaculating and nutting out. You feel me?
Man. What you just said was something very, very, that one key point that you just said, sometimes you just got to pull out, right? If your only game is going in, you have no game. You know, like let that sit in, because it's not always just, okay, you're going to get into the thrust of the matter, you know?
Right.
You have to understand that, okay, you have different things. Women also, we men, females, we all got different parts that you can stimulate. You can stimulate the ears. You can work on the feet. Start with a foot massage. Give some reflexology, you know? Start with a foot massage. Start there. You know, you have body parts. You know, you have lips. You know, if your only game was just thrusting, you have no game. And people really need to understand that. Think of sex as if you were leveling up, right? The more that you can use the information and put it into your own theory of practice, the better it's going to tailor to your individuality, you know?
Absolutely. Bro, I think we got a beautiful session documented into the history of mankind and womankind. And I would love to do more things like this. Right now, I want to try to keep it digestible for people and give them, these are the 8 benefits. It's live on my YouTube. You can check that out, anybody. I got this recording. Who knows where the hell this goes? But definitely join the next workshop. It's coming up in about 7 days. The breath work workshop. So we're going to teach you more techniques of how to use the breath to bring that life force energy we talked about, to retain the semen and fuel your own body, fuel your own spirit, fuel your own purpose, fuel your own mission, feel the security and the pleasure and everything you bring your woman or otherwise partner. Recognize the benefits against 60 days of NoFap, 60 days of no semen retention, and not diving into the porn will help to rectify erectile dysfunction. 15 to 20 days, depending on your intake of porn, depending on the strength of that addiction, that urge starts to die and wither away. Find yourself attracting primal women from a primal sense of your pheromones just leaking out of you, because that confidence was built. Because without nutting off every second, your self-esteem is strong, your confidence is there. You don't talk negative about yourself and have with these thoughts and self-hatred. Recognize that this is all about helping you to sharpen your mental mobility, gaining clarity, a more healthy and positive outlook on your own masculine energy and the masculine energy of the brothers that you come in contact with, now not having to fight with them so much because of territorial bullshit and all of your pheromones are out and not in alignment, right? And recharging the breath, recharging the sexual energy through the breath and bringing that breath up your spine. Let's start practicing more sacred sexual practices, set more intentions, and be more honest, be more emotionally honest with your woman. If you just got to come out, you just need to pause, or you just, like Semen said, need to use different parts of your human body because you've got a whole bunch of them. Take the time and the energy to do so. I want you guys to check out SEMET. I have his details down below, actually in the description, of how you can reach out to him, especially if you enjoyed the content. SEMET, if you want to drop in the live chat, any links directly, please do that, because anybody that sees a live chat, they'll be able to check in with that and hit your website directly, potentially email list, whatever you do. I know you have the email list coming out, and they have the Temple of SEMET. If you want to kind of give people a little bit of intro on that, information on the Temple of SEMET quickly.
Yeah. So, well, real quick, so the Temple of Health, what it is it's a membership site that I have where I give pretty much my best content on all things body weight training, strongman, weightlifting, nutrition, breath work from all practices. It's the type of content that you're not going to see in my blogs. Let me actually, I'll put this in the chat box right now. But in essence, if you click on the link that I'm going to put in the chat box right here, you'll notice it. Bang, right there, summitfitness.org. This is the Temple of Health. And what I do is I update it monthly. And I put a plethora of information out there, just things that you can do, because I believe in practicality, things that you can literally access and do right then and there. So private videos, articles, PDFs, things of that nature. And my YouTube, SummitFitness, that's it.
Absolutely. And I already have your YouTube attached to this live, so that's lit as well.
And you can also email me at coachsummit@gmail.com.
And I'll make sure to add the link you just dropped and your email directly into the descriptions for everybody who want to reach out and contact him. And if that's not the case, you want to contact me to connect you with him, I'll be able to do so personally as well. So you can do that as well. My man, SEMET, we'll catch up on the next episode of Life.
Most certainly. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Hey, I love you, dude. I'll see you soon.